Light breaks where no sun shines. Where no seas run, the waters of the heart push in their tide, and broken ghosts with glowworms in their heads, the things of light, file through the flesh where no flesh decks the bones. A candle in the thighs warms youth and seed and burns the seeds of age. Where no seed stirs, the fruit of man unwrinkles in the stars, bright as a fig. Where no wax is, the candle shows its hairs. Dawn breaks behind the eyes. From poles of skull and toe, the windy blood slides like a sea. Nor fenced nor staked, the gushers of the sky spout to the rod, divining in a smile the oil of tears. Night in the socket rounds like some pitch moon the limits of the globes. Day lights the bone. Where no cold is, the skinning gales unpin the winter's robes. The film of spring is hanging from the lids. Light breaks on secret lots, on tips of thought where thoughts smell in the rain. When logics die, the secret of the soil grows through the eye, and blood jumps in the sun. Above the waste allotment, the dawn halts.
Montag. I knew it. I knew it. Of course, all this... The existence of a secret library was known in high places, but there's no way of getting at it. Only once before have I seen so many books in one place. I was just an ordinary fireman at the time. Wasn't even qualified to use the flamethrower. It's all ours, Montag. Listen to me, Montag. Once to each fireman, at least once in his career, he just itches to know what these books are all about. He just aches to know, isn't that so? Well, take my word for it, Montag. There's nothing there. The books have nothing to say. Look, these are all novels. All about people that never existed. The people that read them and makes them unhappy with their own lives, makes them want to live in other ways that can never really be. What's happening?
This house is condemned. They're said to burn the books right here with everything else.
Well, burning the house is one thing. Burning the books is another, isn't it? It's never any good burning everything together. Come on, Montag. All this philosophy. Let's get rid of it. It's even worse than the novels. Thinkers, philosophers, all of them saying exactly the same thing, only I am right. The others are all idiots. One century they tell you man's destiny is predetermined. The next they'll say that he has freedom of choice. No, it's just a matter of fashion, that's all, philosophy. Just like short dresses this year, long dresses next year. Look. All stories of the day. Biography, that's called. An autobiography. My life, my diary, my memoirs, my intimate memoirs. Of course, when they started out, well, it was just the urge to write. Then after the second or third book, all they wanted was to satisfy their own vanity, to stand out from the crowd, to be different, to be able to look down on all the others. Ah, Critics' Prize. Ah, this is a good one. Of course, he had the critics on his side. Lucky fellow. Just tell me this, Montag. At a guess, how many literary awards would you say were made in this country on an average each year? 5, 10, 40? No less than 1,200. Anybody that put pen to paper was bound to win some prize someday. Ah, Robinson Crusoe. The Negroes didn't like that because of his man, Friday. And Nietzsche. Ah, Nietzsche. The Jews didn't like Nietzsche. Ah, here's a book about lung cancer. You see, all the cigarette smokers got into a panic, so for everybody's peace of mind, we burn it. Ah, now this one must be very profound. The Ethics of Aristotle. Now, anybody that read that must believe he's a cut above anybody that hadn't. See, it's no good, Montag. We've all got to be alike. The only way to be happy is for everyone to be made equal. So, we must burn the books, Montag. All the books.
Sir?
Yes, what's the matter?
Trouble with the old lady downstairs.
Dear.
Got to make a decision.
Forgive me, Your Ladyship, it's not a decision we have to make, it's the right decision. Please, Your Ladyship, I had a friend. Before one's face was lined, as the saying goes, in a very low state he was, ever so fragile, a pain to be with. Someone close to him, his mother, I believe, though it was never proved, understandably upset, made a decision. A little rest, she said, among those similarly off-centre in Colwyn Bay. Never a good date, not in February, wrapped in a grey rug, gazing at a grey sea. Talk about bleak. Mother dear made a decision, but it was the wrong decision. My friend never acted again.
We have to face the facts.
I had a friend once said, Norman, I don't care if there are only 3 people out front. Or if the audience laugh when they shouldn't or don't when they should. One person, just one person is certain to know and understand, and I act for him. That's what my friend said. There, I know how it feels. I had a friend, worse than you he was, and all they ever wanted to do with him was put him away. And no one wants to go through that, or so my friend said. They'll send you to Colwyn Bay. You know you never do any business in Colwyn Bay. And guess what got my friend well? Now, sounds silly this. An offer of work. A telegram, yes, fancy a telegram. Can you understudy Scrubby, outward bound, start Monday. He discharged himself just like you, my friend, did. Took the train up to London, found digs in Brixton, and never looked back. What do you make of that? An offer of work. Meant somebody thought of him. And that's ever such a comfort. So here's something to cheer you up. Going to be a full house tonight. All those people thinking of you and wanting you to act. I had a friend.
Every now and then, I guess we all think realistically about that day when we will be victimized with what is life's final common denominator. That's something that we call death. We all think about it, and every now and then I think about my own death, and I think about my own funeral, and I don't think of it in a morbid sense. Every now and then I ask myself, what is it that I would want said? And I leave the word to you this morning. If any of you are around when I have to meet my day, I don't want a long funeral. And if you get somebody to deliver the eulogy, tell them not to talk too long. Every now and then I wonder what I want them to say. Tell them not to mention that I have a Nobel Peace Prize. That isn't important. Tell them not to mention that I have 300 or 400 other awards. That's not important. Tell them not to mention where I went to school. I'd like somebody to mention that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others. I'd like for somebody to say that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to love somebody. I want you to say that day that I tried to be right on the wall question. I want you to be able to say, that day that I did try to feed the hungry. I want you to be able to say that day that I did try in my life to clothe those who were naked. I want you to say on that day that I did try in my life to visit those who were in prison. I want you to say that I tried to love and serve humanity. Yes, if you want to say that I was a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness. And all of the other shallow things will not matter. I won't have any money to leave behind. I won't have the fine and luxurious things of life to leave behind. But I just want to leave a committed behind. And that's all I want to say. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word of song.
Private lives of people here are infinitely wilder than they would appear to be on the surface, in the open.
Is that indeed why there is wildness in the characters of the plays you've written about this time?
Yes, I like to show the surface of their lives and then to show what's back of the surface. It makes an interesting contrast.
Maybe that's why people everywhere can relate to your characters, no matter where they come from.
I hope they can. I've never understood it because I think of myself as being a very, very peculiar and eccentric person. And I don't see how the majority of people could relate to all the people I create.
Maybe it's the eccentric in each individual that they see.
You think other people are as eccentric as me?
In a more hidden...
Well, that's a relief to hear that. It's very encouraging. I shall continue with my eccentricity now.
Battles higher. He's a cheat. And he's a fat slob, Dennis. And that's it. That's his good point. That's the three good things about him. I know one way to get Lou Albano's goat, Daddy. Because me and Johnny's been with him since 1970, baby. 1970, Daddy, he's been cutting our purse. 30%. And all you got to do, people, is say, crazy Lou Albano. Not Captain, crazy, baby. Lou's crazy, Daddy. Lou was crazy, brother. Do you ever try to talk sane? Did you ever try to talk sane to an insane person? Did you ever try to be reasonable with an irreasonable person? Did you ever try to be friendly to an unfriendly person? Did you ever try to talk to Lou Albano, make any sense with the half-wit would have come across with? We never needed you, Lou, and you're gonna spit on the day of the calendar that you ever turned your back on Jimmy and Jerry and Johnny, baby. The captain came to me one early morning, baby, and he says, Jimmy, Johnny, you can always tell a crazy person because he's got crooked teeth. And then Lou Albano smiled, and he don't have a straight tooth in his head, baby. He's crazy. Lou Albano.
Well, why the question is, why the complete metamorphosis? Why the complete change? I mean,
you don't have to get scientific about this. There's nothing like that.
A couple of months ago, the Valiant Brothers were extolling the virtues of Captain Lou Albano. Now, the Valiant Brothers, indeed, are just... Lou Albano's about the lowest thing on your totem pole. What is it?
I want to say this. What started the whole thing off is Lou kept interfering in our matches. We had a match with Tito Santana and Tutsky. We had the match just about won. What happened? Here comes Lou Albano. He interjects himself where he wasn't needed, where he wasn't wanted. And the end result was we got disqualified. We happened to lose a match. And it's been time after time after time. And I said, Lou, better keep your lousy, greasy paws where they're not wanted. And that's what started it. That's what started it, baby. And then the other thing started, and I hit Lou's booze. I hit his booze. I broke every bottle. But I'm telling you something right now, Albano, you ever stick your nose in the Valiant Brothers, we're going to kick the booze, going to kick everything of scars. You see the scars all over his head?
You know how many times he's been kicked and punched? How many times you've been hit over the head with chairs and... Crazy, baby. You think you can keep your sanity after you've been hit so many times with punches and kicks and chairs and ran into steel poles? That's why Lou Albano's nuts. He's as soft as a 5-day-old prune day. Woo! Musty! Lou Albano! We fired you, brother. You didn't fire us. You did us justice getting out of our life. We're going to have more bread. We're going to win all our matches from now on. We don't need you. You're crazy. Lou Albano, you're crazy.
All right, let me ask you both one question. If you had the opportunity, would either one of you get in the ring with Lou Albano?
Oh, what do you hate?
Right
now, brother, right now. Bring him out. Anywhere. Anytime, baby. Lou Albano. This is it, brother. Johnny, myself, the gentleman. We'll anywhere.
Sometimes a night funeral going by carries home a cool bop daddy. Hearse and flowers guarantee he'll never hype another patty. It's hard to believe, but dead in there, he'll never lay a hype nowhere. He's my ace boy, gone away. Wake up and live, he used to say. Squares who couldn't dig him, plant him now. Out where it makes no diff nohow. I play it cool and dig all jive. That's the reason I stay alive. My motto as I live and learn is dig and be dug in return.
Anytime you beg another man to set you free, you will never be free. Freedom is something that you have to do for yourself. Just like the white man in America brought about freedom for himself by letting the people who oppressed him and colonized him know that he was willing to pay the price. And until the American Negro lets the white man know that we are really ready and willing to pay the price that is necessary for freedom, our people will always be walking around here second-class citizens, or what you call 20th century slaves.
What price are you talking about, sir?
The price of freedom is death.
Malcolm, this is your first public statement in that 90-day period, is it not?
First time I opened up my mouth in 90 days. That's why I'm talking so fast and so hearty.
You feel, however, that we're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull the knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
How about the nice little man was sitting on the subway right next to a priest, and he turns around to the priest and says, "I don't know who you are, young fella, but you dress something terrible." The priest says, "Why?" He says, "Your collar's turned around. Look, if I had a mirror, I'd show your collar's backwards." He says, "Well, I'm a father." He says, "I'm also a father. A grandfather and a great-grandfather. I wear a nice tie with clips, with points, with everything beautiful." He says, "Your collar's turned around, you look awful." He says, "You don't understand. I am a father to many thousands." He says, "Many thousands? Better you should have your pants turned around."
You. Well, no, you're not the far-out generation, are you? I'm kind of quirky, okay? The freak-out, the flop-out, the psych-out, the dropout, the blackout, the fallout, the conk-out, the cop-out, the wipeout, the sweat-out, the strike-out, the sell-out are warning the world we should all get the hell out.
There's one. Don't you have one about Nixon?
The book is divided up into several parts, and one of them is called Little Drops of Watergate. And under that heading, I have one called Identity Crisis. Milhouse Ben Nixon, in his royal tower, awoke one night from a deep dream of power and saw within the moonlight of his room a shadow with a peace plaque glowing in the gloom. He could not discern the form or face, but he knew 'twas someone from outer space. Some long-haired peacenik, some pinko poet. The weird beard tells it, and the peace words show it. You, cried Nixon, may be someone from Berkeley or Harvard or Kingdom Come, but to me, you're nothing but a campus bum. Just then, Pat rubs her eyes and wheezes. My God, Dickie, you're talking to Jesus.
Papu Ben Adam may his tribe increase, awoke one night from a dream of peace, and saw within the moonlight in his room, making it rich and like a lily in bloom, an angel writing in a book of gold. Exceeding peace had made Ben Adam bold, and to the presence in the room he said, What writest thou? The vision raised his head, and with a look made of all sweet accord, answered, The names of those who love the Lord.
Slim in hell. Slim Greer went to heaven. St. Peter said, Slim, you've been a right good boy, and he winked at him. You've been a traveling rascal in your day. You can roam once more, then you comes to stay. Put these wings on your shoulders and save your feet. Slim grin, and he speak up, Thank you, Pete. Then Peter say, Go to hell and see all that is doing, and report to me. Be sure to remember how everything go. Slim say, I be seeing you on the late watch, Bo. Slim got to cavortin' swell as you choose, like Lindy in the spirit of St. Louis blues. He flew and he flew, till at last he hit a hangar with the sign reading, This is it. Then he parked his wings and strolled around, getting used to his feet on the solid ground. Big bloodhound come a-roaring like Niagara Falls, sicked on by white devils in overhauls. Now Slim wa'n't scared, cross my heart, it's a fact, and the dog went on obeying some po' devil's track. Then Slim saw a mansion and walked right in. The devil looked up with a sickly grin. Certainly didn't look for you, Mr. Greer. How it happened you comes to visit here? Slim say, Oh, just thought I'd drop by a spell. Feel at home, sir, and here's the keys to hell. Then he took Slim around and showed him people raising hell as high as the first church steeple. Lots of folks fighting at the roulette wheel, like old Rampart Street or leastwise Beale. Showed him bawdy houses and cabarets. Slim thought of New Orleans and Memphis days. Each devil was busy with a devilish broad, and Slim cried, Lordy, Lord, Lord, Lord. Took him in a room where Slim seed a preacher with a brown skin on each knee. Showed him giant stills going everywhere, with a passel of devils stretched dead drunk there. Then he took him to the furnace that some devils was firing, hot as hell, and Slim started a mean perspiring. White devils with pitchforks threw black devils on. Slim thought he'd better be getting along. And he'd say, This makes me think of home, Vicksburg, Little Rock, Jackson, Waco, and Rome. Then the devil gave Slim the big ha-ha and turned into a cracker with a sheriff's star. Slim ran for his wings, lit out from the ground, hauled it back to St. Peter, safety bound. St. Peter said, Well, you got back quick. How's the devil? And what's his latest trick? And Slim say, Peter, I really can't tell. The place was Dixie that I took for hell. Then Peter say, You must be crazy, I vow. Where in hell d'you think hell was, anyhow? Get on back to the earth, 'cause I got to fear you's a little too dumb for to stay up here.
30,000, monsieur. 1,000 thanks, monsieur. Oh, shame. Shame. How many times have I told you not to be frightened? Have I not told you? God look after all his children.
Hannah, where are you?
Here, Grandfather. Right here.
It's finished. Quick, before I forget it. Pencil and paper. Hurry, please. Ready?
Yes, all ready, Grandfather.
How calmly does the olive branch observe the sky begin to blanch, without a cry, without a prayer, with no betrayal of despair. Sometime, while night obscures the tree, the zenith of its life will be gone past forever. And from thence a second history will commence. A chronicle no longer gold, a bargaining with mist and mold, and finally the broken stem, the plummeting to earth, and then an intercourse not well designed for beings of a golden kind, whose native green must arch above the earth's obscene, corrupting love. And still the ripe fruit and the branch observe the sky begin to blanch, without a cry, without a prayer, with no betrayal of despair. Oh, courage! Could you not as well select a second place to dwell, not only in that golden tree, but in the frightened heart of me? Have you got that, Hannah?
Yes, Grandfather.
All of it?
Every word.
And it's finished?
Yes.
Finally finished?
Yes, finally finished.
And it's good.
Beautiful.
Is it good?
Beautiful, Grandfather. Oh, Grandfather, I'm so happy for you. Thank you for writing such a lovely poem. It's worth the long wait. Can you sleep a little now? I'll fetch your shawl.
I'd like to pray now.